Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Jacqueline's Journey. We're going to talk about what to eat, what not to eat, and when and how you can go out to eat following gastric bypass. Hi everybody, thank you for joining us this week. I'm Jacqueline. I'm a woman with a disability who uses a wheelchair for mobility. I'm also a woman who had gastric bypass weight loss surgery 8 weeks ago. At my heaviest, I weighed 313. When I started this journey in April to see the surgeon, I weighed 240, and on surgery day, I weighed 225. This journey, this channel is to tell you what to look for, what to expect, and just my individual journey throughout life. Not all of my videos will be about weight loss, I'm sure, but this week we're going to talk about what's happening with my eating, what to eat, what not to eat, and what you do when you go out to eat. So about 2 weeks ago, my daughter wanted to go to Panera, or wanted to go to a restaurant, and I knew Panera had soup. So I said, okay, let's go to Panera. By the way, it's on my app, which I will tell you about in next week's video. Panera is one of the discount places on my app. So I'm like, oh, let's go. I can at least eat soup. So I ate the soup. I had the broccoli and cheese, and that kind of worked for me. I did a cup, not a bowl, because I didn't want to overindulge, and I didn't want to fill my stomach. So I have to practice mindful eating. I'm not really good at that right now, but I'm a work in progress, guys. Every day is a work in progress. The soup went well and it was great, but I gotta tell you guys, one of the things that has been bothering me is my inability to go to the bathroom. Now, for those of you who knew me, knew that going to the bathroom was always an issue, but it was always an issue of not being able to stop going to the bathroom. But I gotta be honest, post gastric bypass, the issue is not being able to go. And I've done videos about those in the past that you can check out on my channel. But it is sincerely an issue. If you can find what works for you, go and do that and do it regularly. I'm so struggling with that part because it's such a change in my system. So the soup went well, and I did really well, and we got through that week with very little incident other than the bathroom incidents. But this past week, starting on Saturday, I really didn't feel good. We went to a kick-ass seminar, and I enjoyed myself. But come Saturday night, when we were coming home, my wheelchair died. I'm in the process of getting new batteries, but it just died, and it was like freezing outside, and I don't wear coats usually because I hate them. They're so constricting in the wheelchair, but so we were freezing, and I just couldn't handle it. And then Sunday, I ate something, so I was all excited that I could eat something, so I got store-bought chicken already made, and ate it, and was going to do a presentation on disability awareness. I ate the chicken and proceeded to get really sick. But I don't want to shirk on my obligations, so I wanted to go do that presentation no matter how awful I felt. So I said to Tim, you know what I do, you know where my heart is, but if I get sick during this presentation, you're going to have to fill in for me. You're going to have to jump in. I don't have a set script. I usually feed off of what they want to know, and I also feed off of their questions. Because it was kids, they generally have a lot of questions. I made it through. Surprisingly, I made it through. I made sure that I took something to drink with me. I kept it there. I had the handy dandy nauseousness things I can smell, so I made it through. I got through the hour, and I was so proud of myself. But I gotta tell you, on the way home, all the foam came up and all of the issues started again. So I had to deal with that on the way home, and I kind of felt crappy on Monday, so I stayed home. I think it's going around because Tim had it yesterday, so I just stayed home for the day. But it's amazing how one time you can have a food and the next time you can virtually have the same food, but if you don't eat slow enough and you don't chew it up, it can make you sick. Tip number one when you start collaborating and networking within your community is perhaps you need to find what your passion is. Now, you may have a professional passion, like I do, helping students with disabilities, or you may have a passion that's totally unrelated to your vocation, and that is okay. I am also a collaborator in something called the Good Neighbors Time Bank. And if you don't know what a time bank is, it's a great way to connect with people in your community for very little or no cost. So no matter where you are in the country, Google your city and the words time bank and see what comes up. People post offers and parties and socials and all different things that may be a help to you or a good way to meet people in a safe environment. So remember to Google your city and the words time bank. I'm also going to put a link below to our local time bank here. If reading is your thing, check out a local bookstore and see if they have book clubs. Or if art is your thing, perhaps a gallery has some programs, or a local museum has some programs. I know in our county they do. And if art really interests you, check out an art studio. There are a lot of ways to get involved, but if you're not too sure, Google your city or county's Chamber of Commerce. Maybe somebody there can get you connected. Or if you have a community foundation, maybe they know of some programs who need volunteers. Often the United Way also keeps volunteer databases if you'd like to volunteer. Don't forget to consider food banks and homeless shelters. Or maybe you could have a fundraiser for one of those organizations in your area. Food banks seem to be very popular this time of year around the holidays, but then interest seems to die out. But homelessness does not. So those organizations are always looking for volunteers throughout the year. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Lions Clubs, Rotary Clubs, Shriners Clubs, all of your civic organizations in your community. You can just Google civic organizations in wherever you live and try to see them as well. Churches, Tim just reminded me of churches. If you are involved in a particular church, you may ask some of your fellow congregation, or you may want to start your own group in part of your church that may be a mission all of your own. Whatever you do will be benefiting somebody in the long run. But collaborate, because you're not only giving things to people who may need them, but you're meeting extraordinary people who can become some of your greatest friends, just like some of my greatest friends started out as colleagues in a collaboration. Hey everybody, those are just some general tips. I'm sure there's a lot more, but if you ask me questions in the comments below, I'll be sure to answer them. I can also help you find some information in your area if you wish. As some of you can probably tell, it is getting really dark outside and hard for me to video in the car. So I'm going to end this video this week. Just remember to love each other, to collaborate with each other, because no matter how bad you may think you have it, somebody has it worse. And your neighbor or your friend may need a little help but are afraid to ask. So please reach out to everyone you can. Remember to love each other. Remember, if you believe, you can achieve. And I'll see you next week when we talk about a discount app that Believe and Achieve has available. So love each other, be kind, God bless, and we'll be talking to you next week. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.